see about 1:30 though, right?
For us, for our welfare and not for harm, to give us a future with hope. Then when we call upon you and come and pray to you, you will hear us. And we call upon you now, O God, to hear us give thanks for your faithfulness to this place called Augsburg College, to hear us give thanks for these dear students, to hear us give thanks for wise and committed faculty and staff, administrators and regents, to hear us give thanks for family and friends who stand by us. O God, be with us in our joy and give our hearts your good courage to begin again as citizens of the world. In the name of the risen Christ we pray. Amen. Please be.
You are so wonderfully joyous in your attitudes and so numerous in your number that we may not be able ever again to gather ourselves as a college for the sake of this grand event called commencement. So you may be enjoying the sort of last word, as the college has been saying lately. That last word you may know is Zizagaton. And this, I think, for those of you sitting there, may be the last word, although I sure bet that you'll have a word or two of your own before we're done here. Right. let me do indeed greet you in the name of the college, and here to help me with that are the faculty, the staff, most of whom are employed in trying to make sure you get in the right seat and get up here in the right order of line, and the regents of the college. And as we get into the business of actually handing you your diploma, which by the way is prudently kept empty until you have proven yourselves, Gene Taylor, the chair of the Board of Regents, will be helping me down here. And we are indeed glad to be here to celebrate your graduation, the largest class in the history of the college, 752 students. 346 of you are traditional day students, 162 weekend college students. Partisanship, the bane of modern politics. 39 students from the Rochester program. 13 from United Hospital. Now what, you see the inequity coming. 1 from 3M. Right. 191 graduate students from 6 programs. You win, clearly. Many of them are the first graduates from the 3rd largest Masters of Business Administration program in the state of Minnesota, the Augsburg program. I think our youngest graduate this year is perhaps 19, and our oldest, I wonder if I can mention her name. It's here, so perhaps I won't breach privacy laws. Sharon Fishstrom, age 58. Casey Fisher and Amanda Franklin are on the other end of that continuum. You come from 30 states and 14 nations, and those 14 flags are behind me, or I presume they are. I'm not going to look because you're liable to shout again. More than 150 of you study overseas, and that's an increase of 50 from a year ago. 24 of you are graduating with a departmental distinction or other departmental honors, and 17 of you are honors program graduates. 77 of you have been inducted into national and international honor societies. A record number for this college, so thank you indeed for that. You now can cheer yourself on that. That's 87 members of this class are graduating cum laude. 50 are graduating magna cum laude, and 22 summa cum laude, achieving a grade point average of 3.9 or higher. And I wonder whether we could ask the cum laudes, the magnas, and the summas to stand and allow us all to say thanks. That's not what it's all about, but it's a lot about that. And another thing that it's about is community service. And several of you, many of you, have been engaged in the Samuel Project, for example, or in the spring break bus hurricane relief trip to Biloxi, Mississippi. 2 of you, Ben Tees and Brett Ott, are McNair Scholars, the last of a noble breed. We made them the last because the federal government lost its way and denied us the continuation of our grant some years ago. But we responded by saying, all right, we'll do it ourselves. And we have. And I think that's and we did it in the form of a program called the Academic Fellows. And we'll keep it going until the federal government gets its mind back and restores our grant. And we will re-enter our partnership with them. I should like to now present an important award in respect to community service, the Marina Christensen Justice Award. And as I tell you something about that award and its recipient, I should like to ask the recipient to come forward. And he is Paul Cummings. Marina Christensen was a daughter of our long-serving and wonderfully important President Bernard Christensen. She lived on the urban frontier in Chicago, where she was doing great work, bringing community to the fringe of the city in what is known as the Austin neighborhood, and she was killed one night while out walking in her neighborhood some years ago. And as a consequence, we have given each year an award of first importance to people who are interested in the business of building community in the city, and Paul is a leading example of that kind of energy. He came to us from AmeriCorps, and when he was working at the West Bank in the COIL program when he came here, he worked for 2 years with junior high and high school students in the COIL College Readiness Program, helping to prepare them for their basic skills tests in learning English and providing them one-on-one counseling and assistance. He accompanied students on campus visits and assisted with various fundraisers for this program. Under his tutelage, students went from not even thinking about college to being accepted at numerous colleges and universities in the region. On campus, he has been immersed in activities and programs, having served as resident advisor, directing food and clothing drives, getting Student Senate involved in a campus-wide effort, and gathering resources for victims of Hurricane Katrina, getting out the vote for students and for others. And he has done all of that in part in his last year as president of the Student Senate. He is a SABO scholar, and he has been laying the groundwork for connections between public policy and service, and has founded a remarkable new organization at Augsburg that we're looking forward to bearing heavy fruit into the endowment of this college in the years ahead, namely the Augsburg Stewards. Paul, we are very grateful indeed for your service and proud to confer upon you the Marina Christensen Justice Award.
James A. Johnson, heir and careful steward of a Benson, Minnesota family tradition and public service, right hand to a Vice President of the United States, also from Minnesota, son of Adeline Rasmussen, Augsburg alumna of 1931, senior advisor to the Democratic Party, chairman emeritus of the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, former chairman and CEO of Fannie Mae, friend and benefactor of higher education. You have earned the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters from a grateful college. Proud to have attracted your mother and now you to its place and mission in this city. And to have won your support and praise for our service to the city's diverse populations, for our efforts to supply a part of the upper Midwest's growing need for an educated and civically engaged citizenry, and for our dedication to friendship and collaboration with your old alma mater, whose western flank Augsburg dwells. During your decade of tenure at the helm of Fannie Mae, you accomplished a dramatic expansion of housing opportunities, especially in the nation's urban cities. In 1998, at your direction, that foundation you founded recognize and encourage pioneers in the provision of affordable homes and community development. Indeed, you advanced the cause in the Longfellow neighborhood of Minneapolis by helping to rehabilitate Augsburg House so that the college could supply affordable housing to its president and its wife. Even as Maxine's faculty duties at the Kennedy School at Harvard calls the family east, and Alfred's dedication to football and study at Stanford pulls it west, you keep your Minnesota roots vibrant by serving as a director of the Target Corporation, United Health Group, and the University of Minnesota Foundation, and your national leadership in policy. Excuse me. As former chairman of the Brookings Institute and board member of the Carnegie Foundation and Goldman Sachs, the New York Times citation of your 2002 commencement address here was rated as one of the most significant given that year and vaulted you yet higher in national standing. President Crane, I present to you James A. Johnson, candidate for the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
As you can imagine, it is a thrill for me to return to my home state on this beautiful day. I'd like to use this occasion to reflect on my life and share some of the lessons I have learned. While an Augsburg student, I became a die-hard advocate of the liberal arts tradition, and I'll illustrate several points with the wisdom of great voices from the past. Let me begin by reminding you of Abraham Lincoln's admonition. It is better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak out and remove all doubt. That said, I'm about to risk it all by spending the next 15 minutes opening my mouth. Augsburg College was and is a special place. I was a student here in the 1960s, an era notable for extreme turmoil in our country. During my years in high school and as an undergraduate, I lived through the assassinations of John F. Kennedy, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and Robert Kennedy. My years here coincided with unprecedented social disturbances.
Jessica Ferris Jandrick. Hamza Ahmed Yusuf. Ahmed Y. Mohammed. Heather Rose Howard, cum laude. Kyle Lynn Fritzy. Jennifer Beth Anderson, magna cum laude. Leatrice Janelle Carilla. Stephanie Michelle Eisenshank. Eric Rand Henjum. Jenna Eileen Boucher, magna cum laude, departmental honors in chemistry. Dawn Noel Locke. Tessa Rose Trevish Pittman, cum laude. Gretchen Nicole Whitman.
Shy, look at him.
Ethan E. Gray. Kalina G. Herb. Mario Osmond Bolton. Molly Ann Rivers. Miriam Rachel Zion. Leah Mary T-Burge. Maureen Christina Parker, cum laude. Christine Purim. Kyle Allen Bowles. Thomas Jeffrey Delisle. Andrew William Lennox. Wendy Ray Wheeler, summa cum laude. Sandre Fulcher, cum laude. Kristen Lynn Radin, summa cum laude. Kurt Alan Fuller, magna cum laude. Casey Robert Yoder. Jason John Rutz. Brent P. Marin. Eric Saldunin, summa cum laude. Departmental Honors History, Honors Program. Aaron James Smith. Peter Zachary Wilson. Eric Lundberg, Honors Program. Stephen Robert Talsnitz. Margaret Marcotte Dornfeld. Analea Olson, magna cum laude. Audra Timish Gill. April Rainbow Claremont. Darcy Marie Adlin, magna cum laude.